Welcome back. Coming on air to you with another tornado warning for Greenwood County. Here we go with the southern end of the upstate, just the most volatile here. If you're watching us in Greenville and in Spartanburg, we're looking fine, but toward the south, there is some rotation that just moved into southern Greenwood County. We'll get right to that warning here that's pushing on in. It's right south of uptown Greenwood. If you're in uptown, you're not in the warning. This is farther south toward these areas here. Kirksey, just south of the lake right here, and that area has been taking advantage of some instability down there. And we'll scroll down to this couplet that we just saw kind of spike right up and then moved into Greenwood County. And this could possibly be a tornado heading toward Kirksey. So I want you to get to your safe place right now. Again, south of Kirksey right here, we've got some strong rotation. Doppler radar is to the north here. This green would indicate the wind is going very fast toward the radar. The red is going away. So very possible there's a tornado right here as it's moving toward the northeast. Sydney, if we can put that in motion, we'll get a good idea where this is heading right here. Looks like it's heading toward Kirksey, and then we'll get the southern end of Lake Greenwood yet again. And if it continues, it'll go into you folks there in southern Lawrence and in Newberry County. Put a track on this right here as it just entered from McCormick into Greenwood County right here, and it's moving toward the northeast at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So this would put it in Kirksey at 434, Cambridge 443, 96 National Historic Site, and then Chapel's there at about 458. You need to be seeking shelter right now in Greenwood County, south of uptown Greenwood. If you're in uptown Greenwood, northbound, you're not in this warning. You should watch it closely, but this is for south and eastern parts of Greenwood County right here. We'll go back to our velocity product here and see it. That's some pretty strong rotation and probably the strongest that we've seen so far in our area. And it's on an area that separates 70s toward Columbia and Augusta and 50s toward Greenville. This area right here in about 60 degrees from Greenwood back toward Abbeville. We've been watching this back toward Georgia. You can see where it really flared up right there, right as it sits on the Greenwood County line right here. We'll zoom into street level here. You can see this is possibly a tornado right here with some very strong rotation picked up on live Super Doppler 4 HD right here as it's moving on through, heading toward Kirksey right there. We'll tilt the radar down just a little bit, be able to tap into live Super Doppler 4 HD right there. You can see our Doppler radar is able to give you an instant look at where this is possibly heading and where it's located right now. And this rotation, we put a track on that right there as it heads toward Kirksey. I want you to be in your safe place right now. This is some very strong rotation. It'll be in Kirksey within the next 10-15 minutes by 4:38 right there, about 8 minutes away. So Bold Spring Church, Callison at about 4:31, Kirksey at 4:38. If you have family, friends in this area, go ahead and get on the phone, give them a call. You want to stay put. This is a time where people are on the go. You got school dismissal, kind of in between that and getting out of work. So you want to kind of hold tight wherever you're at. You don't want to be traveling in this. Just kind of stay put. Let this threat move on through. We'll get through this and we'll be able to show you what's going on. But that is some strong rotation. The green here indicates to me on Doppler radar that wind is very strong going toward our Doppler, and the red's going away. That gives us the rotation here, which we're seeing on Doppler, and that's indicated as we take everything off the maps except for the rotation. This kind of cleans it up for you, shows you exactly where that rotation is right there along the Greenwood County line pushing northbound. Right there in that southern side of that line as it's pushing toward the area right there. All right, so watching it, this tornado warning is in effect here for Greenwood County. It's moving toward Troy at about 10 miles east of Troy, rather, moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. It's picked up speed. This warning goes until 5 o'clock right here for south and eastern parts of Greenwood County. So if you live in 96, basically southbound, this is going to head toward 178 right here. I've got my eyes on the lake right here for my friends on Lake Greenwood. You need to get to shelter right now. This is heading your way by 5 o'clock. Sydney's putting a new track on this right here as it pushes up toward Kirksey, Cambridge, Godsey, and then Chapel's at about 5 o'clock right here. That'll put it near the lake at right about the top of the hour right here. So southern Greenwood County, watching this. As we take a look at our debris signature, we'll be able to kind of see where things are located there. Live Super Doppler 4 HD is powerful in the fact that it can pick up on any kind of debris. We'll put it in motion just to kind of see if this is some clutter, if this could possibly be some leaves, some tree limbs, anything. Doppler radar is able to pick up on the raindrops, also able to pick on the possibility of maybe a little bit of debris. Not looking strong evidence of that, but that's right there there in line with where the rotation is. So we'll look at that here in just a few minutes to see if indeed that is the possibility of some light debris, be it a tree limb, some leaves even kind of getting thrown up into the air that Doppler radar is picking up on. But right there is where the rotation is, which is co-located with that. Could be some mess on the radar there. But looking at it for Kirksey, pushing up toward the north right there, this is some strong rotation. In fact, Sydney, I think we can identify some of this to kind of see what the gate-to-gate shear is. Looks like we got some strong winds, especially going toward the radar right there as a new radar scan comes on through and gives us that activity. Warning goes until 5 o'clock right there. So heads up Kirksey, heads up 178. If you're watching us in Greenville and Spartanburg and in Anderson right now, we're watching closely for you, but this is really Greenwood southbound. Southern end of the upstate right now where the air is a lot more volatile. It's unstable. It's warm. So let's pull out big picture here and show you what we're tracking, because all of us are seeing rain right now. It's the possibility that some of this on the southern end is wrapped up into the possibility of a tornado. So live Super Doppler 4 HD giving us a scan right here gives us the possibility of some strong heavy rainfall that we're watching from Pickens to Anderson, but nothing severe out of this. In fact, here's the back edge of it. Clemson, you're drying out, while Holly, you're dry now. No severe threat for you in Hartwell and in Elberton, but just east, we've got this tornado warning in Greenwood. And this is in the southern end of the upstate where conditions are a lot more volatile. And there's been several tornado warnings peppering the Columbia area, the Augusta area. And Greenwood, you're kind of right there in that threat with the strongest rotating winds and the greatest warmth, which is allowing you to be a lot more unstable in uptown Greenwood southbound. So watching this closely here as this line's pushing up toward the north. I have my eyes on 178 right here, and then again Lake Greenwood. These will be in the path of this. So as we turn on the velocity, we'll be able to show you where that wind shear is. When you see the red and the green, you want to seek shelter. That means that there's air rotating, and this could possibly be a tornado. And a new scan just came in. Looks like it jumped east here and still has a pretty decent signature of the possibility of a tornado here. Again, south of uptown Greenwood. You're not in it in uptown, but if you live in the southern sections of Greenwood County, there you go. 15-mile-per-hour winds going toward the radar, and then 43 mile per hour is going away right there. So watching that closely as that's some strong wind shear in this area crossing on through. So we'll zoom in a little bit more closely here and show you what's happening in southern Greenwood County. This is south of uptown, includes Kirksey. You need to be in your safe place right now. That's very likely where we have the rotation and the potential tornado right now. Highway 178 right there. It's over 67 right now going into Kirksey. So if your travels take you from uptown on down toward Kirksey, a lot of folks, of course, you know, when they're visiting the Masters, will stay in Greenwood County. Big tourism opportunity for Greenwood County. So I know a lot of folks, maybe you're tuning in right now from out of town, staying in Greenwood County. You know, just get your bearings right. There's uptown Greenwood, downtown area. Here is Kirksey. You want to just stay put where you're at there in Greenwood County. So Kirksey, Epworth, Innery Zion Church, and then Godsey at about 4:52. This is some strong rotation and the possibility that it's a tornado. I know the kids are out of school right now, and I know having kids of my own, it can be a scary thing having a tornado warning. So when you see that, when you hear those sirens going off, when you're rushing them to a closet, try to make it inviting for them. Have some books, have some things to color. Just ride out this storm away from windows, away from doors. You want to get to that safe place inside your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside part of your house as possible. That's the safest thing you can do right now. Wear a bicycle helmet. Keep some shoes handy so that if you do get some damage, not walking around in bare feet after seeing a possibility of some damage there. So just some tips to help you prepare for this. We're going to walk you through it step by step. If you're near your TV right now and don't want to go away from it, turn the volume up really loud and go to the closet or the bathroom, the safest place there in your home. So Kirksey, you're right there in the threat of this. You can see that Boeing signature right there indicates on radar where we're seeing that potential. But as we look at just the winds, live Super Doppler 4 HD, our very own Doppler radar gives us that look inside the storm. We're able to see the possibility of where the wind's the strongest. So live Super Doppler 4 is showing the strongest rain and heaviest rain right there across Kirksey. But also as we look at the wind speeds, it is really giving us that couplet, that where the green and the red are meeting up right there. And that's showing it just south of Kirksey right there, where the green is going toward the radar, the red is going away from the radar, and that rotation right in that neck of the woods, really quite strong too. And as we put it in motion, it's been kind of flaring up right as soon as it hit the Greenwood County line, and then right there near Kirksey. Again, south of Uptown, south of 96, moving toward the east. So watching that as it's moving into that neck of the woods here, and the possibility we're getting a little bit of damage right there. Let's turn back on our debris signature there, as it is possible that this is some light debris being picked up. So of course, the newsroom in constant communication with folks there in Greenwood County emergency managers. This is where it's happening right now, so nobody's out looking for damage. But of course, if you do see damage in your neck of the woods, please, if you can safely do so, let us know in the newsroom. Give us a call, send us an email, let us know what you're seeing there in southern Greenwood County, because this does look like, to me, with the bright colors showing up here and this little lighter signatures on our debris product, that we could have a little bit of damage happening right now from what could be an isolated tornado here across Greenwood County. So please take this seriously. Possible tornado on the ground in Kirksey, heading toward the north and east, toward the lake right there. There's the southern end of Lake Greenwood. Beautiful area. It's going to be in that neck of the woods by about 5 o'clock. So you got about 15 minutes or so to be, getting to your safe place. You don't want to be traveling in this. Of course, many are getting out of work right now, getting home from some after-school activities. You want to get to the safest place inside your home. As many walls between you and the outside as possible. But yeah, Kirksey, right now, basically. Cambridge shortly thereafter, 449. Dyson at 457, and then Chapels at 503. Sydney, if we can just maybe drill down into street level right here. We'll see specifically where into Kirksey we're looking at, because this is possibly right there over Highway 25 out of Greenwood heading south. All right, so 25 right here pushing toward 178. We've mentioned you along 178 here a couple of times. That's where we're seeing that near Scotts Ferry Road right there. Pitt Road is right there, and then Thrush Road where it connects into Highway 178. So there's 25, a highly traveled road this time of the day, especially coming from uptown Greenwood. If your travels take you that way, or somebody you know is getting off work in uptown and then heading south, you really want to take that seriously and get to your safe place there in Kirksey. Let's go back to our debris signature here, as we're seeing the possibility that this is doing some, some interesting things there in Greenwood County, where that signature just isn't letting up. And right in there, it looks like, could be some noise on the radar, as we like to call it, but it's also right there located with exactly where the rotation is. So it's possible that some tree limbs are being thrown back up into the sky, where Doppler radar is able to pick up on that, which our Doppler sits off of I-85 and is in a great spot to see Greenwood County right here. So this tornado warning is for, a small part of Greenwood County overall. You're not included in that in uptown Greenwood, but southern Greenwood County you are. Near Kirksey, pushing toward the north and east. We'll be crossing over the lake at about 5 o'clock. This warning does expire at 5 o'clock, but we've seen consistency in our Doppler radar, Live Super Doppler 4, which is on the case, kind of giving us that instant look. We're able to see it minute by minute where it's heading, not with any kind of delay. This is giving us that instant look at where the rotation is at, and it's right here over Kirksey. Very possible tornadoes on the ground there in Kirksey being picked up on by Live Super Doppler 4, and it's moving northeast right here toward Lake Greenwood, okay? It'll be there. Latest track Sydney's putting on here shows it in Kirksey right now. Moving toward Cambridge, you have minutes, okay? Cambridge, get to your safe place. Dyson by about 5 o'clock, and then Chapels shortly after 5 o'clock, as it's moving on toward the north and east. And again, this is a small part of our area that's warm enough to feature that severe weather. And there you go, another radar return showing slightly lower, brighter colors there, as the rain and the wind is indicating that the winds are not as strong going toward the radar, but it has moved now northeast of Kirksey. Let's zoom in a little bit closer, as it may be moving toward Chapels at this point. Looks like it's going right over 178 right now. Rotation's heading toward 246 as well there in Greenwood County. There's Cambridge. Looks like it's in the western part of Cambridge right there, okay, between really Epworth on 248 and then Cambridge at about 246 right there. And looks like the rotation just crossed over, and that possible tornado just crossed over Highway 178 right now. Again, watching that closely here, as you got the rotation that's going away from the radar and toward, we're able to tap into both Columbia's radar, which is close to this, and Live Super Doppler 4, which gives us a really good vantage point of the two of them. And we're able to see this rotation, which does still look quite strong heading into Kirksey right there, as that rotation is sitting up right in that location heading toward the north and east. There's Lake Greenwood, point southbound Chapels heading into Newberry County. So let's show you a big picture where we're at, because those of you watching us right now in Greenville and Travelers Rest, Anderson, Spartanburg, Greer, You're wondering what's happening in your neck of the woods. We're talking tornadic activity. You've got rain. I know that can really throw you off a little bit. Right now, temperatures are cool enough in the northern part of the upstate that I'm not seeing dire conditions or threatening conditions. In fact, if you're watching in Clemson right now in Walhalla, your severe threat's over. It's just really looking like the southern end of the upstate, southern Abbeville, southern Greenwood, southern Lawrence County, that has warm enough temperatures near 60 degrees, which can fuel those storms as they're moving on through. And certainly we've seen, unfortunately, it looks like damaging tornadoes in Georgia, moving into South Carolina. One just crossed over Allendale into the I-26 corridor of South Carolina farther south, where there unfortunately looks to be some damage in those locations. And we've seen some signatures in Greenwood County here that this is possibly doing some minor damage there. We're looking closely, the newsroom, in constant communication with emergency managers there in Greenwood County. But Kirksey Point southbound, watching that closely here as we're monitoring the situation. There is a severe thunderstorm warning is now going to be issued for Greenville County. We'll pop up there here. It looks like hail could be possible out of this activity there. We're watching Kirksey and the rotation there. This warning for Greenwood County expires at 5 o'clock with a possible rotation. Let's check back in on that rotation one more time here, Sydney, if we can. Yep, still there east of Kirksey, and it's moving north and east and will head toward Cambridge and around the southern end of Lake Greenwood there at about 5 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warning just issued for the activity there in Greenville County, which, again, we're in the 50s in Greenville County right now. We'll pop up to Greenville and Spartanburg County here, as this is a small warning, but in a very populated area. We need to look at this closely right in here, because right next to our Doppler site, there is a storm that is producing some gusty winds, and we're watching it closely here, as this could potentially give us a threat for some strong winds. I want to turn on one more product here. As it's moving on through here, as it's looking like this could be tapping into some strong winds out of this cell near Piedmont. Actually, right on top of our Doppler site, there sits live Super Doppler 4 right off of I-85. And as we look at our wind speeds in that is showing us that this is a strong cell that, again, could be tapping into some strong winds right there. And some minor rotation present near our Doppler site right there, but it's not looking as strong, and the possibility of some half-inch sized hail in that location as well. So watching that, temperatures right now in Greenville in the 50s, but we need to put a track on this right now in Powdersville, really the northern end of Anderson County, right near our Doppler right here. Live Super Doppler 4, as you know, sits right off of I-85. This cell is moving toward Greenville. Severe thunderstorm warning, strong winds up to 60 miles per hour, and hail that's possible up to a ½ an inch. It'll be in downtown Greenville right at 5 o'clock. So this is moving fast at about 40 miles per hour itself. So a fast-moving cell coming into Greenville, Piedmont Park at about 5:07. That's Taylor's, Greer, shortly after 5 o'clock in those areas, Wade Hampton areas of Greenville. So watching this closely, a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm not seeing rotation that's jumping out at me right now in this area, but you know, this is a volatile line that's moving through, and even though temperatures are in the 50s, there's enough there in the upper parts of the atmosphere with a tremendous amount of wind energy that could get a brief severe storm, and that's what we're seeing right now with this severe thunderstorm warning just issued here across Greenville County. Let's check back in across Greenwood County, where there's an active tornado warning. So two warnings here: severe thunderstorm warning in Greenville County, and then a tornado warning in Greenwood County. Of course, Greenwood County right now, we've seen the possibility of a tornado on the ground a couple of different times in southern Greenwood County near Kirksey. There's the cell that's in question right here near Kirksey, moving up toward the east. It crossed over Highway 25, and that rotation's still there, with the red going away from the radar, the green going toward it. The signature with the wind going toward the radar, looking a little bit weaker, but also our radar beam shooting into the storm right here, into the strongest part of the storm. So there's the shear, looking a little bit stronger actually from last time we checked, sitting at about 50 miles per hour, you know, and that wind is rotating right there. Let's look at our debris signature, see if that's showing us any kind of clue as to what's going on there. And you can see where it's gone right there, but as we turn it on in a loop, you're able to see what has happened and kind of compare basically the darker colors from any kind of lighter colors that want to kind of peek back out. And that shows us that there's the possibility that we had some brief damage there in Kirksey and southern Greenwood County that would indicate that there was possibly a tornado on the ground for a brief period of time there in Greenwood. We're working with emergency management. So far, there's no significant damage reports there in Greenwood, which is certainly some good news. And it looks like at latest check here, Maybe move the radar up just a little bit here, Sydney. We'll be able to see this right here across live Super Doppler 4's purview right there as it's getting closer to the lake right now as it's popping on through here near northwest of Saluda, southeast of Greenwood, and pushing off toward the east right there. That rotation moves through Kirksey right along 25 where it was its strongest over Kirksey, and it now looks like it's kind of being absorbed by that other band that came out of Lawrence County. So let's turn on live Super Doppler 4 again. We're able to kind of see what happened with that. It looks like that cell out of Lawrence County kind of combined with that, and that kind of halted its rotation because it's looking less strong to me there as it's now into the northeastern side of Greenwood County right here. And this warning goes until 5 o'clock. So we're going to stay with this and look at it closely because right now it looks like that possibly was a tornado or at least some damaging winds there in Kirksey, and it's since weakened a bit. But as we know with these things, they can flare right back up and give us a tornado or a wind threat. As we put a track on this, it's moving toward Chapels Community Church, and then Crossroads Church at about 4:56. Let's check back in on the severe thunderstorm warning. You're seeing at the top of your screen, tornado warning in the southern part of the upstate, a severe thunderstorm warning. The difference with these is the one in Greenville County looks to be strong winds. Does not have tornadic signatures with it, but 60-mile-an-hour winds not out of the question here across Greenville, stretching back across the Saluda right here into Anderson County, where our Doppler site sits right there, as you know, off of I-85. This pushing off toward the east very quickly here. So watching that there in Piedmont and really downtown Greenville southbound, the possibility of half-inch sized hail and gusty winds. Let's look closely at that cell, see if there's any rotation out of that right there in Piedmont as it's rolling on through. Looks like strong winds certainly a possibility in these areas, and spots of some rotation trying to peak back up in these areas here. The good news, at least in Greenwood County at the moment, is it looks like that activity there in Greenwood is showing a lot lower signs of rotating here for us. So as we put that in motion, it did show a sign of peaking right there. As I'll slow it down. Right there is where live Super Doppler 4 HD kind of isolates just the rotation. It looks like it peaked right there south of Kirksey as it entered Greenwood County. As we look specifically at live Super Doppler 4 HD, it's showing us the possibility that that rotation is weakening there in Greenwood County, which is great news. And just got word from the National Weather Service they are going to expire that warning there in Greenwood County, as they are seeing the same things that we are here, that that weather is showing signs of being better there in Greenwood County. So no more tornado warning. You can come out of your safe place there in Greenwood County. However, we are watching Greenville as this line right here that's crossing through Greenville right now has shown some signs of some strong winds. I'm not seeing rotation out of this activity right now, but as it's moving on through these areas, we need to keep an eye on it because 60-mile-an-hour winds certainly not out of the question as it's moving on through, and also the possibility of some strong winds. So again, to recap here for you, we went under a tornado warning for Greenwood County at about 4:30 with the possibility of a tornado on the ground entering the county. That warning has since expired just a moment ago, but as that happened, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Pickens, Anderson, and Greenville County, solidly into Greenville County right now. So strong winds up to 60 miles per hour and some small hail possible in Greenville within the next 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not seeing signs of rotation out of that, but this line is strong, and it's the back edge of the line that's moving on through that we have to pay attention to. So we're going to send things back over to Carol and Gabby, who are monitoring things right now too. And of course, anything threatening comes our way, I'm going to go kind of look at the damage reports and see what I'm seeing and keep giving an update here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. We do appreciate it. Let's turn to other news. Traffic relief could be coming to Woodruff Road. SCDOT wants